Good morning, everybody. Here we are again in the studio. We're in South Florida, the Sodom and Gomorrah of car dealerships. We're down here reporting on what's going on, not just in Florida, but we're actually doing a mystery shopping report out of state in Tennessee today. You regular listeners know about our mystery shop, and that's probably, I talk a lot about other things on the show, but it's kind of like the cartoon. And remember the movies where you had a cartoon, sports and news a long time ago when we used to go to the movies? Well, it's kind of like the cartoon, but it's an informative cartoon where we pretend to buy a car. We have an undercover agent. We refer to her secretly as Agent Lightning. We can't reveal her true identity. And if you hang in there, if you're just listening now, you don't want to listen for 2 hours because we're on from 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time, but tune back in the last half hour and pick up the Mystery Shopping Report. We, as I say, for 20 years we've been doing this. We go in to pretend to buy a car, and we just go through the same thing that you go through when you buy or lease a car. And we report exactly what happened. I mean, we don't spice it up. We don't have to. It's a cartoon. And cars are sold in the United States and I suppose some other countries in a way that retail products are no longer sold. They're sold the way horses were 150 years ago. Horse trading, that's what it is. It's not retail. It's not Amazon. It's not Target. It's not Costco. It sure is in Costco. Great place to shop, by the way. It's taking your life in your hands and walking into a dealership and playing games. And we reveal exactly what happens. Very, very few of our dealerships get really good grades, but we have to give you some good grades so you have a place to shop. Anyway, stay tuned for the Mystery Shopping Report. For you new listeners, we're here to help you buy a car without being taken advantage of. Not just buy a car, lease a car, maintain or repair your car. And we're qualified. I don't want to brag, but we've been doing this a long time. We have a car dealership. I've been a car dealer since 1968, if you can believe that. And I've had several dealerships, all different franchises. And right now, we have a Toyota dealership in North Palm Beach. I tell you that because we don't want you to think, if you're new, this is not an infomercial. I hate infomercials. I mean, when they come on television, especially when they suck me in, I say, oh, look at this. They're going to tell me how I can lose weight. Oh, look at this. I can get rid of that headache. And you find out it's somebody with a white coat on and a stethoscope pretending to be a doctor telling you about a product that he knows nothing about. He's reading a script. This is not an infomercial. We are here as consumer advocates to help you buy a car without being taken advantage of. Lease a car, maintain, or repair your car. And by the way, before I get carried away about buying and leasing cars, let me say this. Cars are built better today than they ever been. That's the good news. I mean, it's as hard to buy a car and dangerous to buy a car as it ever was, but it's a better product. They last longer. They cost less to operate. They're safer. I mean, there's very few things about a car today that's not far better than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And if you go back 25 and 30, I can't believe we drove those death traps. I mean, I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember driving cars without seatbelts, much less airbags. And I can't tell you the other unsafe parts of those cars that you didn't know about, but they were death traps today. That's amazing. In our dealership, we have a collision repair shop, and we have cars brought in that are almost in a basket. I mean, we have cars that you look at that wreck and you say, oh my God, how's the passengers, how's the driver? Oh, they weren't hurt at all. And so it's amazing the safety that we have in our cars today. But you still have problems with them. They're complicated for one thing. I've got a certified diagnostic technician in the studio. You regulars know Rick Kearney. He also monitors the YouTube channel. And if you didn't already know this, we stream this show on YouTube, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. So if you have an issue with your car, get a free diagnosis from Rick. If you go into a dealership, you go into an independent repair facility and go through the process, you'll probably pay a few $100s just to find out maybe there's nothing wrong with your car, or it's not serious, or maybe you find out there's something wrong with your car that's not wrong with your car, if you know what I mean. So if you have a noise, if you have a smell, if you have a rattle, a vibration, anything that seems out of the norm for your car, it's got you worried, call Rick at 877-960-9960. That's our old-fashioned telephone, 877-960-9960. And he'll do a pretty good job of diagnosing your problem. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. Again, that text number is 772-497-6530. And talk to Rick. And you don't have to ask him about a problem. You can make a suggestion. Tell him about an experience you may have had with your car's repair, and help others who are listening to the show benefit. A high percentage, I was going to say 50%, but at least 50% of the things that you will learn from this show are from our callers, from our texters, from our YouTubers, especially the YouTubers. We have some folks out there monitoring YouTube, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, that are exceptionally well informed on automobiles, how to buy, lease, maintain, repair, and we learn from these people. So we're kind of like a center gathering location for people that are both knowledgeable and not so knowledgeable. So if you're not so knowledgeable, listen. If you are knowledgeable, contribute. And you can contribute by calling, as I say, 877-960-9960. Sitting to my left in the studio here in North Palm Beach, Florida, is Nancy Stewart. She is my co-host. She is my wife. She's a co-founder of the show. And she watches those phones like a hawk. We've got like 5 lines coming in. They light up, and sometimes they light up. We have to get to them quickly. We stop what we're doing. We go to the telephone because we like the telephone. We like everything. We like text. We like YouTube. We like Facebook, by the way, facebook.com/Earl on Cars. We like all the communication you can give us, but we favor the phone because the personalities come through. So Nancy has got a laptop computer right in front of her, and the studio controller will flash the phone call on the screen, the name of the caller, and we stop what we're doing to get to the phones. We prioritize phone calls. Nancy Stewart is also a female advocate. Now, that can have a negative connotation, especially to you guys, but the fact of the matter is, Nancy is really ahead of her time. She recognized the fact that females have been considered second-class citizens in this country for a long time. And if you go back to the 50s and 60s, or even 70s for that matter today, it's still not 50-50 for the female. And the only thing that we can tell you that's 50-50 is they buy half everything. They're buying half the cars. They're servicing half the cars. They're dealing with car dealers and manufacturers and the products about 50% of the time. So they should have an equal say. And that is one of the reasons that we call Nancy a female advocate. When you call this radio station, or if you call us and you haven't called before and you're female, she's going to tell you right now about a offer that is too good to be true. Well, it's not. It sounds too good to be true, but it's true. You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe the offer if you're a female and you haven't called the show before, and you call 877-960-9960. Nancy will tell you why that is really a good idea this morning. Nancy, the microphone is all yours.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Quickly, we are going to give away $50 to the first 2 new lady callers. The first 2 new lady callers. And what I'd like to do is go right to the phones and talk to Phil. Phil's been holding for a while. Phil's calling us from Jupiter. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. Yes, I got a question. I bought 2 new cars 4 months ago. I bought a Prius and I bought a Venza. And I haven't got the second key fob in yet. And they checked it. I had checked yesterday. They said that they didn't know when it was going to come in. So what happens if I lose a key in the meantime? I mean, how would I get another key from this little tag that I got on the key? It's a silver thing with a number on it.
Yeah, Phil, you just hit on one of the most common complaints. Literally, there's not a day goes by that we don't get a complaint at our dealership of this issue. And it goes back to the microchip shortage. It goes back to the supply chain interruption. And the manufacturers were selling every car they could possibly manufacture, which was diminished because of the supply chain issue. And in order to sell a car, they have to have a key. Well, normally you have two keys. But in order, they had to decide, do I want to give my customer the two keys that I always give them, or do I build a car and sell a car that I wouldn't otherwise sell if I sell it with one key? And you guessed the answer. Rick has his hand up.
Here's the practical answer. Some high up in Toyota came up with a plan. They have a set number of keys set aside for emergency situations like that.
This is just Toyota you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's Toyota. This is Toyota corporate, motor company Toyota. And so what would happen is we would order in one of those keys saying the customer lost their key. It would, it'd be a customer pay situation, and we would get that key in, we would get your car towed to the dealership, and we would then program that new key to your car to operate it.
Oh, okay. So that little silver tag I'm looking at the thing, is that how you would identify?
We can identify, that's the key code, but we can identify by the VIN, and it's just in your vehicle records right there. We can make a computer just by accessing that. You don't need the tag. Nothing goes wrong if you lose that little tag.
Yeah, there's a database that has those numbers all stored in it for your car, but having that key tag just makes it a little easier that if you say, I need a new key, here's my tag. That's the code for when they cut that little niblet key that can unlock the driver's side door.
Okay. So if that happens, then I just call, and then y'all do your magic and make it happen, basically.
Right.
Is that?
But that can get really expensive, so you want to be very careful not to lose that key.
But how long? I mean, okay, they're telling it's been 4 months. So, what's the time frame been usually? I mean, have y'all?
I have seen customers that had to wait almost a year to get the key.
A lot of Phil, a lot of it's politics with the manufacturers, and if you raise a big enough stink in the right way, you can get a key a lot quicker. So it's a chronic situation with all manufacturers, and I would suggest you take your complaint to the top, to the owner of the dealership. Or the general manager of the dealership, at the very least, the service manager. And it's like everything else. If you're a good customer, if it's a situation that might require a hardship on you, as Rick said earlier, there's always a few keys. I mean, it's like the old joke. The guy goes to the hotel and says, I'm sorry, we sold out. And he says, well, if I was the president of the United States, would you have a room for me? And of course, you know the answer. Somehow there'd be a room for the president of the United States. So if you make your issue with a key serious enough and chronic enough of a problem, and you talk to the right person, you can get a key pretty quick.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. 877-960-9960. That's the number you can reach us at. And you can also text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. We have some interesting viewers here this morning. I'm not sure if anyone's following the feed. We've got some people. Johnny Z is viewing us from Missouri. He said it's 34 degrees. Wow. I hope you're someplace warm and cozy.
Yeah, shorts and T-shirt weather.
And we also have We also have Casey. Casey's watching us from East Tennessee. Okay, as I said earlier, I have $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. So give us a call and share your thoughts with us, or just say hello. That's 877-960-9960. Rick?
Well, we've also got Negan 1. He's out in Arizona.
Easy.
Yeah.
Hi, Negan 1. Okay, we're going to go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Howard, who's a regular caller. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning. I hope you all are well. It's not such nice weather today, but we'll get better.
It's been better. Hey, Howard.
I hope so. I tend to walk. Anyway, I received a letter from Josh, and it's like an extended warranty. It said, we recommend you obtain a vehicle service contract so that you protect yourself against financial costs, mechanical and electrical repairs.
That's not Josh Stewart.
Okay. It says, yeah, I know. That's why I'm calling. It says Josh Stewart. Sincerely, Josh Stewart.
No way. Okay. Well, forward it to me, Howard.
Yeah, and forward it to me too, because we're not supposed to do something like that. I'd love to see what the letter says and who.
Yeah, I'm passing by, so I'll drop it off.
Yeah.
I'm passing by, and I called up. And I said, are you Toyota? He said, oh, yes. I said, well, how much do you charge for the extended warranty? Oh, $4,000. And, yeah, so it's
real scam.
I realize, yeah, I know. I realize it's a scam. But I'm driving past, so I'll give it to the lady at the desk.
Okay, and then I'll grab it.
And we're going to give it to our attorney, because that is certainly misrepresentation, and they're actually attacking our company and our brand by using the name of one of our managers as a come on. So thanks for the tip. We might we'll cut you in for 10% of what we get when we sue them.
No, come on, Dad.
Okay, great. Okay.
20%.
20%.
I'll take 15.
Hey, you're negotiating with us. We didn't even try to negotiate.
Negotiator.
Yeah.
I just had you 20%. Come on.
Yeah. I'll drop it off today because I'm passing by.
Thank you, Howard.
I'll call Josh, because Josh will be there.
Maybe Howard's gone. Maybe Josh has gone rogue.
No, I don't think so. The only thing I'm wondering is if it's. I can think of a follow-up email if somebody didn't get a warranty after they purchased the car, saying it's still available.
Yeah.
But we don't have any warranties where somebody says how much your warranty costs. $4,000.
Okay, thanks, Howard.
Maybe that outside company hired someone just because their name was Josh Stewart.
Well, that's an excuse, but it ain't going to get them off the hook.
All right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll repeat that again. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. And, Consumer Report did a survey recently on getting your vehicle repaired. Tell me how you feel, what decision you would make if you needed to get your vehicle repaired. Would you go to an independent shop? Is that what you prefer? Or would you rather go to the dealership? Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. And at about 9:30, we have our dog of the week, and his name is Vanilla. He came to us from Texas, from the Texas, Texas border. Boy, the pollen is driving me nuts and everybody else. Woo. Okay, so everyone will just have to listen to me clear my throat, Rick cough, and Stu roll his eyes.
I'm not rolling my eyes.
877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And you can also go to the Big Dog Ranch website, www.bigdogranchrescue.org. Take a look at all the beautiful dogs that they have up for adoption. And maybe you might want to run out there and take a look around. It's a great place to visit. We're going to go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Dan. I believe Dan's calling us from Coral Springs. Good morning,
Yes,
Dan.
good morning. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Great.
All right, two quick questions. One's easy. When I start the car in the morning, should I let it warm up for 30 seconds or a minute, or can I drive immediately? And the reason I'm asking is I was in another car with someone else. They started the car and they just put it drive and started driving without letting it warm up. And I was curious, should I warm up the car before I start actually moving the car?
My opinion, it can't hurt. I can't tell you for a fact that it helps, but I can say it certainly can't hurt when you first start the engine in the morning. Let it run for at least 10 or 15 seconds. Even that small amount helps get the oil circulating a little bit. Let it run a little bit to get a little warmth into that oil so it can start circulating and doing its job of protecting the engine. Because overnight, not only does that oil settle down all the way down into the oil pan itself, but the water vapor that's in the air, especially in Florida, with as humid as we get it, that water vapor is getting inside the engine and getting everywhere. So there's little condensation droplets all over inside, and that oil actually helps pick that water up. And as soon as it heats up, of course, the water evaporates and goes out before it can do any damage. Starting the engine and immediately going into drive, it almost kind of be like, the instant you wake up trying to jump out of bed. If you're not ready for it, eventually you're going to hurt yourself. Same thing with an engine. As they get older, that little extra time gives them a chance to warm up, and I think it makes engines last a lot longer.
When I wake up, I sit on the side of the bed for about 15 minutes.
Huh?
Right, to get the oil circulating.
Quite that long, but even
All your
just
oil
a few
settles in your
seconds,
feet.
and you spend a lot of money on a car. Just that little bit of time to let the car warm up, I think it'll make them last a whole lot longer. Same thing with the transmission. Everything gets a chance to kind of get in gear and get it all lubricated and ready to go, and it's better for your investment, really.
Okay, and in the case where the car is a little older, like my car is a 2016, so it's 8 years old, should I let it warm up more than 10, 15 seconds? Because it's an older car?
15, 20 seconds is plenty enough. I mean, I'm in a 13, and 15, 20 seconds, that's all I ever give her. My truck's ready to go, and I'll tell you, at 177,000, it's running great. I mean, I expect to get another 100,000 out of that truck easily.
Okay, great. So my second question is more on tires and balancing. I would say about a year ago, I went ahead and got new tires from Tire Kingdom, and got it at 70,000 miles. When the car had 70,000, I got a set of 4 tires. And then when I asked them how often should I rotate and balance, they said, well, every 5,000 miles. I said, okay. So, but unfortunately, with everything going on in life and with work, I should have went back there to have my tires rotated at 75,000. But by the time I thought about it, it was like a little over 83,000. So I missed the 5,000. And so my question is, seeing that the tires already have about I would say about 13,000 miles on it when it should have rotated at 5,000. They did the rotation, but now should I wait a little extra longer to make it even on the 4 tires so that it gets, or should I go back on the 5,000 mile rotation?
I would go back to that 5,000. And for tire balance, I don't really advocate having your tires balanced as often as that, unless you're feeling an issue. If you're starting to get a vibration at highway speeds, then yeah, I would get them balanced. Otherwise, keep that rotation going every 5,000. It's definitely better for the tires. Makes them wear longer, last longer, and you get your money's worth.
The key, I think what Rick is really saying here, the key is to look at those tires at least every 5,000 miles, and probably at least every month or so. I mean, if it takes a long while before you put 5,000 miles on them, you shouldn't let a lot of time go by before someone inspects your tires. Now, when they inspect them, that doesn't mean they're going to line them, mount them, and balance them, of course. But you look at them, you find out, is there uneven wear? Is the inflation correct? And when push comes to shove, the most expensive thing you've got on your car right now are your tires in terms of maintenance and repair. To replace those tires is extremely expensive today. So it used to be there was a whole lot of other things in the car you had to worry about. Right now, the cars, even a 6-year-old car, you said it was 6 years old, even a 6-year-old car has got incredibly stable maintenance, repairs, and everything else. You could drive a car forever without having to fix it today compared to what it was 25, 30 years ago. But your tires are just like the tires you had 25 or 30 years ago. If you knock them out of alignment or balance, hit a pothole, hit a curb, you're going to ruin a set of tires. Now you're talking maybe $1,000 for a set of tires. So get them checked at least every 30 to 60 days or every 5,000 miles, depending on your driving habits.
Yeah, and the one thing I learned when I went to Tire Kingdom, I thought they were going to do a rotation and balance, but it wasn't. It was done in 20 minutes, and I asked about the balance because according to my receipt, when I purchased the 4 tires, it said balance for life, and I thought they did that automatically, and the gentleman said, no, we just rotate it. Unless you find that it vibrates as you're driving, we would just do the rotation with no balancing unless you let us know that it's not driving safely or bumpy when you're driving. So that I learned.
Yeah, that's their small print thing.
And it's like a Tire Kingdom or any other service department. And I'll include myself in our dealership, we love people to come in. I mean, there's different reasons. We love people to come in, we like to think, because we want to be sure we're taking care of their car. But a business wants people to come in so they can make money. So Tire Kingdom wants you to come in as often as they can get you to come in. And the good answer why that is because they can find something that needs to be done. The bad answer is when they get you in, they can sell you something you don't need. So it's like anything else, servicing or buying a car, buyer beware. But for your tires, you're going to have to take a chance. You go in at least every 5,000 miles or 2 or 3 months and have your tires checked because it's a safety issue. And when you have a problem, you can say, show me the nail, show me the uneven wear, show me the alignment reading on the computer printout on your alignment machine. When they tell you you need to have work on your tires or a replacement tire, just be sure they show it and prove it to you.
Okay, and then and just as a follow-up, I noticed that on my bill it said balancing for life for $24. Do you feel that's a junk fee added on?
Most service departments have a junk fee. They call them various things: hazardous waste disposal fee, miscellaneous shop supplies. In South Florida, the average is probably $25 or $30 just to come in. So when you get your invoice, go through and opposite every charge, there should be some work completed. If you see something that you don't recognize, that's probably the junk fee. And then you have to ask the cashier, what is this? And she'll probably say something like, oh, all our customers have to pay this. And then you say, I'd like to speak to the service manager because I don't want to pay this. I had my wheels aligned, I had my wheels balanced, I bought a tire, that's what I'm going to pay for. I don't want to pay for your hazardous waste disposal, or I don't want to pay for whatever else you have under miscellaneous. I don't like miscellaneous charges, I'm not going to pay it. If you say that forcefully, 95% of the time they'll take it off the invoice.
The
Right.
amount you mentioned, sir, is that they're charging you on this visit, or was that the original?
No, yeah, that was the original purchase. When I purchased the 4 tires,
Okay.
they went ahead and they charged me $6, $24 total for 4 tires at $6 a piece for lifetime balance.
Right. Yeah, that again, like Earl said, that's to get you to come back every 5,000 so they can look your car over and try to find something to sell you.
Right, because also they did charge me a one-time balance fee of $40, $10 when I purchased the tires, and then the additional $24 for lifetime balance.
Right. Yep. That's getting
All
you
right.
to pay so that you think you have something of value there that you want to use. So you're going to keep going back there, and every time you go back, they have the opportunity to look and see if they can sell something on your car.
No, I agree. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much, and you guys do a wonderful service to us for out here, and I really appreciate all the info.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Dan. Give us a call again, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies, you still have time to give us a call, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. We're going to go back to the phones and talk to our friend, Jersey Mike. Good morning. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, folks. You're doing a great show again. I just do it every week, and I've got some input for you that you'll find interesting.
Okay.
The key bob issue, okay? I had a disaster. I was coming back from North Jersey on 95, and I stopped at a service center, and I took my dog for a walk in the area. It was at nighttime, dark, okay? And unfortunately, I went over and got some candy or something, coffee, whatever, in a little... where they have the convenience stuff and the, whatever you call it thing. Anyway, I lost my key fob. I said, oh, where did I leave it? I carried a flashlight in the car. I went searching here, there, everywhere. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to have to go ahead and get the car towed from way up north. I only got a 100-mile allowance on my AAA car. I said, this is going to be really bad. Well... I finally located it. Now, I learned a lesson from that. I was someplace, I'm not sure where it was, but there is a place, it could have been Costco over here on North Lake Boulevard, where there's a man inside of a portable van, and it's kind of like a yellow-orange color, and he actually makes keys. And I got a separate key fob made for $300, and I keep it separate in my pocket, loose from the one that's usually on my keychain that I attached to my belt loop. So it is available. Yeah. I'm not sure where it could be, but
we have really there are vendors. Yeah, there are sellers out there, and we've used them in the past. With our used car department, if we need to make an extra key for like a BMW or something we don't have the computers for. I think it works on most of the time. I don't know if there's any problems, but there's nothing. And also, I think we realize that Ace Hardware would they do the same thing? Yeah. So there are availabilities. It's still a lot of money, but it's not as much. I think you get it from a dealership, it's going to be closer to $500 probably.
It's a lot less expensive than getting towed a few hundred miles.
Yeah, that's another factor. Yeah, you got to realize.
Very, very true, Mike. I've used Ace Hardware, and back in the day, I used CVS.
Oh,
things have changed.
So let me talk about a couple other things. I used to be a motorhead. I had a '68 Corvette. At that time, I was the age of the muscle cars. We used to drag and all of that stuff. And I had it dynoed out after I got done working on it with cam and side pipes and a whole bunch of other things at 490 horsepower on the dynometer. And I could do 0-60 in 4.0 seconds. So we had 390 foot-pounds of torque. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I never lost a race. I only took it out on the weekends. And every time I would take it out, everybody wanted to race me. But no. And there was a place in Paramus, New Jersey on Route 17, a highly trafficked location called the Stewart's Root Beer Stand. And that's where everybody would go with their hopped-up cars to go racing. They go down the New Jersey Parkway. There's a strip there where you could go racing, basically, late at night, because the traffic wasn't too bad. So I'm just, sharing some things with you. Now, I got another question for you. Then I want to talk about Big Dog Ranch real briefly, because I was out there all afternoon yesterday. I got to say some things to your audience. I got this here, 2014 AST Cadillac. And I've had Cadillac since 1977. I'm 78 years old, okay? And I used to put 60, 70,000 miles per year on them with my business. I ran my own business. So I would turn them around every 3 years because I basically burn them up. But I followed the manufacturer's manual, and I never, ever had a breakdown or a problem with any one of those Cadillacs. I go out and I buy this used 2014 AST, and it's been nothing but a nightmare. I'm not going to go through all the things that went wrong with it. But the one thing
I think we have some. We've heard about some of them. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, what looks like leather is not leather, and it just crumbles off. Is there anywhere, a place I can get that done reasonably well?
Yes.
Repaired, because I want to get rid of this car and get myself maybe a Subaru or something that doesn't break down.
We use a company called SAT, and it's
Sun Auto Trim.
Sun Auto Trim. It is the top turn to trim, and we use them for leather, and they are excellent. They're reasonable. I don't know if they are doing straight retail. I think the best thing to do is maybe contact me after the show, or just send me an email or a text, and I can contact them.
How do I do that? How do I do that?
Well, they are. To contact me, you can text me right on the show's text line if you want. It's 877. I'm sorry, 772.
497-6530.
I haven't said that number.
492. I got 772-492 and last four.
Okay, 772-497-6530.
Yeah, text me and then I can.
6530. Okay, I will.
And we can put you together. But here's the thing: there might be. You're in West Palm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There might be some vendors up here in the area. We've just been using this one for years because they have a pickup and delivery service. They're set up to service dealerships, so they are.
Okay, great.
But there could be. What I would look for is just auto trim. Just look up on Google, or if you have a phone book. If they have those.
I will do that. Thanks for that info. And let me say a thing about.
Yes.
I was around before seatbelts came to cars. Okay, and the dealerships at that time, and I'm talking about they introduced seatbelts in '69. 68 didn't. 68 and prior didn't have that.
Right.
And I got a '55 Chevy here. Believe it or not, that runs pretty nicely also because I collect cars. But the point is, dealerships at that time made their money in the service department. They made no money selling cars. In other words, you could go to a regular dealership back in the 70s, and most of the cars that they had there, they sold for a big discount off of the sticker, the window sticker, the MSRP cost, because they made their money with their service department.
Well, that's probably. I'll jump in there because I was selling cars back in the 70s too, and for many years, not recently, not in recent history, but for many years, the new car departments, if you look at the financial statement of the dealer, was kind of a break-even sort of a thing. But if you add in the things that are not apparent, like extended service contracts and finance profits and things like that, it has a different picture. But yes, the competition among a lot of franchises, new car franchises, is so intense that the new car department is on the average about a break even. The service departments, on the other hand, are quite profitable. Now that's history. Things changed in the past 3 years enormously, and it's a tail wag of the dog. In COVID and post-COVID years, the dealers have made virtually all their money in the new car department because they're charging $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 over sticker price. Things are returning to normal. But if you look at the whole picture of auto retail, the service department is the most profitable department. Compared to, and the new car department just by itself is about the least profitable department.
That's right. That's what it was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, Howard, Rick just texted me. There is one Central Auto Trim in West Palm. It's local, and I think they do retail. So in other words, you can work with them. So if you want the number, I'll put it on. Central Auto Trim. It's 561 area code. 666. Oh, sorry, 686 9611. It's 686-9611.
Got it. That's great. Okay, so let me say something about a Big Dog Ranch. I was out there all afternoon. Okay. A lot of people don't know this, but that is a no-kill, and it's the only one in the United States place where they board dogs. Mm-hmm. And they just went to Puerto Rico and brought back a whole bunch of dogs that were, from a bad storm or something like that. They do wonderful work out there. I've already adopted one dog out there, and then the dog of the day, maybe a few weeks back that you were talking about, I ran out there. By the time I got there, it was gone already. So,
wow.
Because I wanted another
that's great
dog.
to hear.
Oh yeah, really. And let me say this: a lot of people don't know this, but you'll talk about what benefit you offer with regard to the fees and all that. But if you're a veteran, which I am, Vietnam era, you pay, or any era, okay? You pay only 50% of any adoption fee.
That's right.
And when you get that dog, everything has been done, including a chip in it, should it get ever lost.
Yeah.
So it gets groomed, it has all its inoculation,
Everything.
you get all the documentation, all the paperwork.
This is
and then
so far from
thereafter,
the pound.
If you have a problem with your dog, you can take him back there, and it's free of charge to get it looked at by the veterinarian.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mike, they cover it all out there.
Veterinarian, yeah. If you go to the veterinarian,
I don't know whether you heard
automatically.
Exactly. I don't know whether you heard our dog of the week today, but Vanilla came to us from the Texas border. So Big Dog Ranch, it's a no-kill. It's a no-kill facility in the United States.
I know.
So we thank you for promoting Big Dog Ranch. I have another call.
Let me just say one last thing. There's a veterans building out there, so any of you veterans out there maybe want to get a partner for life, and they're one of the best creatures to have as a partner for life. Go out there and see the veterans building, because they'll treat you very, very well. We share a brotherhood basically.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting everybody know that out there.
Thanks for sharing that again.
Just
Howard.
so many great things about Big Dog Ranch. Thank you. 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies, I'm still waiting for a phone call. First two new lady callers, $50. Stu?
Real quick. I just wanted to, I think we keep making an error. Big Dog Ranch Rescue is the largest cage-free, no-kill shelter in the United States.
That's right.
I think we keep saying it's the only one. There are other no-kill shelters. That's a movement to have no-kill shelters, but nothing comes close. Nothing comes close to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Nothing comes close.
Oh, thanks for pointing that out. Okay. 877-960-9960. We are going to go to Chase. Good morning, Chase. Chase is calling us from Palm Beach.
Yes. My question is this. We're referring back to the gentleman who called about 10, 15 minutes ago about starting your car and letting them warm up.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that the transmission and the motor and the oil pan was a sealed unit.
Nope.
No?
When your engine is running, there are however many cylinders you have. Those pistons are flying up and down inside that crankcase, creating a huge amount of pressure. If they were sealed airtight, that pressure would be just exploding that engine apart. So you have the crankcase ventilation, the PCV valve, and your transmission. Although it's relatively sealed, it's got an air vent as well. So there is air getting in and out of them. And, of course, Florida moisture is kind of like sand. I mean, it's going to get in everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm sure that depends on, any part of the country. I mean, I'm originally from Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
And we warm days and cold days, throughout the seasons, too.
Yep.
So I appreciate the call back. I mean, that's great. I'm glad you turned me right on that. That's perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Have a great day.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Chase. Give us a call again, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Stu?
Do we have a pause in the calls?
Can I say something about Jersey Mike's?
About Jersey Mike?
We're going to go to Andy, who's calling us from Wellington. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning. Yes, good morning. My name's Andy. I'm from Wellington, and I just wanted to let you know I did receive that same letter about the extended warranty.
Really?
Yeah, and it looked pretty official on the outside, like it was from you guys.
Andy, let me interrupt you because I got the answer, and we're pleading guilty. Something I didn't know about and Stu didn't know about, but
remembered.
we have a company. It's a Toyota, which is the Toyota distributorship. For you folks that have been around for a while, you remember Jim Moran. He founded the Toyota distributorship for the United States back in the late 50s, early 60s. And he has a company called JM&A. We sell extended service contracts that we design ourselves for our customers. They are marketed. We use the company that administers those is the Jim Moran and Associates, which is the Southeast Toyota company. They train our people and they administer the warranty that we design. They also are, what I've just found out, they're marketing that extended contract that we sell in our dealership. And I don't particularly care for that letter, and we will address that. But let me just say that this is live radio, and Andy, you and Howard were able to tell Stu and me something we didn't know about our own dealership. We're not doing anything illegal. We're not doing anything that is not correct. But I don't like the flavor of it. It sounds like too much of a. I say on this show, and you've heard me say this, if you get a solicitation for a warranty by mail or by text or any kind of solicitation, totally ignore it. And here we're doing the same thing that I'm telling you to totally ignore. So we will change that, either stop it or change it. And thanks for pointing this out to us. We had the letter after I heard of it. I didn't, neither Stu nor I believed we were doing this. I texted Josh Stewart. He says yes, and here's a copy. He sent us a copy of the letter.
Yeah, I had Wes, one of our listeners, sent a copy. I can say this. That I think when we agreed it was a matter of contacting service customers. I don't know who approved the text of the letter, so I agree with you. The text sounds, it's not high pressure, but it's a little doom and gloomy.
Well,
right. I kind of felt that because I listen to your show a lot, and I know your stance on extended warranties, and I would never consider getting one of those.
No, listen, this is the beauty of live radio, and we open ourselves up to, and we love to find out things that we you would think we wouldn't want to hear it, because we do want to hear them. We do want to hear when we do something wrong. We just found out by the fact that somebody, here we have something going on in our own company that we didn't know about, and we found out about it. So here we are, pleading guilty and as charged. And thanks, Andy, and thanks for Howard for calling this to our attention. But we will address that issue and make it right.
You're quite welcome. Okay, great. Have a great day.
You too, Andy.
Thanks, Andy. Give us a call again. I think we're going to get to Stu and Rick early.
Okay.
We've got a little pause here on the lines.
We have a pause. I have Anne-Marie has her first text. She's been waiting here since 7:59 a.m. Good morning. My 2013 Camry has the standard notice to turn the gas cap closed until it clicks. The last few times I filled up, I didn't hear the click, and my hearing is still okay. The cap feels as if it's tightly sealed, and I haven't seen any warning lights on my dash. This prompts the following basic refueling questions, and we'll do them one at a time. One, can a gas cap seal properly without clicking?
Yes, it can, but it means that it's getting to the end of its lifespan, and for like $35,
you can get a click.
I would get a new gas cap.
Okay.
And that's $35 to $45, I believe, is Toyota's retail price.
Okay. So her second question is, what should I do about it? Which you just answered. So you're coming to the end of the lifespan of your gas cap. For under $40, you can get it replaced. Yep. Number 3, when is the best time to refuel? When the gas gauge reads half full, quarter full, or less, assuming one's in an area with plenty of gas stations.
This is South Florida. We get storms. We lose power. We have weird things happen here.
Be ready.
I like to fill mine up. Anytime I'm below a half, I stop and fill up the tank.
Well, you were a Boy Scout. Always be prepared.
Yep. I was.
I know.
Unlike me.
You've run out of gas before. And number 4.
No, I've never run out of gas. I just let it get to the, to the minimal.
When you're feeling the full
Where
of
your dad
anxiety.
is saying, no, you got to
From the
stop.
Seinfeld episode where you keep going. Number 4, what happens to a car if you do run out of gas? Is there sludge in the bottom of the tank that can mess things up?
No. The fuel filter is on the fuel pump. There's a sock on it, basically, that will keep anything from getting in there. However, running it out of gas can be a little hard on the engine. Not really anything real dangerous,
Right.
but it's going to sound pretty horrible when it starts running out. And in order to get your car to restart, you generally need to have at least 3 gallons of fuel back in there.
Okay.
Because otherwise, the computer is going to say, wait a minute, I'm obviously out of gas. And it's not going to reset things and let you restart until it sees a certain amount of fuel in there, knowing that it's got enough in there that it won't damage the pump by
How
trying to
many
run
gallons
dry.
in the typical, like those handheld cans that you get when people got to run down to the gas station and do it manually?
Yeah, most of the big ones hold about 5 gallons.
Okay. Those big square ones, but I've seen some smaller ones.
The little ones are usually 1 gallon.
That ain't going to help you.
Yeah, it might get you going in a pinch.
Okay.
With that
It's
1
not
gallon,
ideal,
you
then.
might have just enough
Yeah.
that'll get you going and get you to the pumps.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, we're going to have to go back to the phones. We've got John who's calling us from California. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're great. Nice to hear from you.
Same here. Long time watcher on YouTube.
Oh,
Thanks for calling.
thank you.
Hey, you what,
No
6
worries, no.
a.m. out there now?
Yeah, I get up at 5 in the morning to watch the show every morning.
Wow.
That's great.
Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Thank you. Jonathan thanks you.
No worries. So my question is, so I took my car to the dealership, and you know how you pay to get it diagnosed, and so they misdiagnosed my car. They called me saying that my car was done and it was repaired. I went to pick it up, and the problem was still there. So they had me pay for the repair that didn't fix anything. And then they told me that it was a more larger, expensive repair that needed to be done. So I asked them if I could just get my money back because they didn't fix anything. And I'm just wondering, is there something I can do to try to get my money back since they didn't fix it and they misdiagnosed my vehicle to begin with?
I'd take it to the top as far as you can go. You're probably dealing with a service advisor who are really service salespeople. They're paid on commission, and they don't like the idea of giving money back because it comes out of their pay. But if you go up the line far enough, I would certainly start with the service manager, the real manager who runs the service department. If that's not satisfactory, you can take it to the general manager of the dealership. If you really get lucky, you should be able to talk to the owner of the dealership. Yeah, it's sometimes at this point, California's got some pretty good laws out there. And are you familiar with a company out there called CARS, C-A-R-S? It's an acronym. I'm trying to think of what it stands for, but it's a consumer advocacy group. I know the owner is a woman, and her name will come to me in a minute. Or maybe
Rosemary.
Yeah, Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Something around there.
I only
Sheehan.
remember her first name.
Yeah.
Is it Sheehan?
Yeah.
Shahan.
Shahan.
Rosemary Shahan. If you want to Google that, S-H-A-H-A-N, Rosemary Shahan, CARS, C-A-R-S. If you were to email or text her, she would get you a reply in California extremely fast. She is probably the number one consumer advocate for auto owners and auto servicers in the world.
It's Consumers for Auto Reliability and Safety.
Consumers for Auto Reliability and Safety. And I think I probably still have her in my contacts. Hang on one second.
Boy, it's been a while since we talked to her.
Yeah, we exchange notes every now and then, and she has listened to the show, and she's...
Did we ever have her call in? I don't remember.
And she's been a great asset to us for sure.
Here's her email address. Do you have something you could write on?
Not on me right now, but I can text.
you can-
Stu.
Okay.
I have you guys on the text line as well.
Mhm. Or you can just replay the show because it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I can do that too.
Very good. We'll send it. And tell Rosemary that Earl said hi.
Oh, go ahead. Read the email. So he's going to play the show back.
Oh,
Read the email address out loud. So
okay. I'll read. The email is RS, as in Rosemary Shahan, at carconsumer.org.
There you go.
RS, as in Rosemary Shahan, at carconsumers, plural, carconsumers.org.
There you go.
Okay, got it. I will play it back. Thank you so
Right
much
in the
for
middle,
everything.
right in the middle of the show, right at the halfway point.
Yeah, love the show, guys. I
you.
love what you guys do. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for calling.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Give us a call again, John. We're going to go to Marty. Good morning, Marty. Marty's a regular caller.
My man, Marty.
Palm.
Hi, how you doing?
Great. How you
Good.
doing, Marty?
I got a question, I guess, for Rick. On the Toyota Crown, it's got 3 drive modes: Sport, Normal, and Eco. Other than being showing you that it's in a different mode, I don't know if that's just an advertisement to make you think you got 3 different modes.
No, they got modes. We got modes.
No. My question is, does it really do anything?
Yeah. It tightens the steering, suspension, like in the sport mode.
It will do a little bit. Primarily, one of the things it'll do is if you put it in eco mode, it's going to reduce how long the AC compressor runs. Because believe it or not, that's one of the biggest energy thieves on the car, because the compressor is run electrically now by the HV battery. So it's one of the biggest users of power. It uses a lot of power. And it'll reduce the amount that it runs. So you may feel a slight difference in the temperature of the air conditioning in the car in eco mode, but it will actually save you quite a bit of power by doing that.
Wow, I learned something too. Marty, excuse me, I know I'm interrupting, but I had no idea. I always thought it was a joke when people would say, I haven't got much gas left, so I'm going to turn off my air conditioning. So it's a true true fact.
It really does.
If
It's not a
you're
lot
on empty and
of
you're
a
looking for a
difference.
gas station,
Turn off
turn
your
off
AC.
the air conditioner.
When my friends and I drove to California and back in 1991 in a Corolla, we had a U-Haul thing on the roof that killed the gas mileage. We couldn't, it was horrible. So we didn't run the air conditioning the entire trip. We're going through the...
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Well,
I knew it burned
so
some
far
energy.
I-
I didn't know it was the number one energy burner.
Mythbusters
I mean, so
actually did
far
an
I
episode on that. But yeah,
So
I'm sorry,
far,
go
I
ahead.
keep the car on normal.
Yeah, normal's the best spot. Yeah, sport basically is going to try to give you a little more feedback in the steering wheel, a little more road feel, and it's going to try to get you more road feel in the suspension, but it's really not going to make that big a difference. Normal's the best one that you want.
Okay, that's where I've kept it so far. And, I checked the mileage. Obviously, the nice part is you're definitely getting better mileage with a hybrid.
Oh, yes.
mean,
Especially in
so-
city driving,
Yeah.
you will see an incredible increase in your fuel economy.
Now, when I've driven the car to Miami and back, I don't think it gets that great mileage.
No, because when you're up on the highway and that long traveling, it's got to run the engine more often to keep electricity to run the car. What happens is when you're in city driving, every time you let off the accelerator, it's putting the wheels into generator mode so that you're using that spinning motion to create electricity to recharge your battery. So your regenerative braking helps get energy back. And then when you're sitting at a traffic light and shuts the engine off, you're not using any gasoline at all there either. So you really do save a lot of fuel in a hybrid in city driving.
Right.
But
right.
up on the highway, it's getting the same mileage as any other gasoline car.
Now, one other question I have for Rick. sometime I'm driving along, I take my foot off the gas, I get that regenerative braking where I feel it, really braking.
Yes.
Other times, it doesn't. It just seems like it's not there. So
Yeah,
I don't know if it's supposed to do it every single time or not.
Now, the computer's going to determine when it wants to do that. There's a lot of factors that it takes into play as to whether it's going to try to get full power or not. You remember when we had hurricanes come through, we all lost power, we're on generators, and you plugged in, say, like a toaster oven to your generator, and you could hear it go and really drag down. That's the electromotive drag that is created when you're basically asking for a lot of power from that generator. And the computer can tell your engine, the electric motors, hey, when he lets off the gas and starts to brake or even just coast, I want full electricity coming back to my battery so it will create the most electromotive drag, and you'll feel that car slow way down. But at the same time, that's creating the most power to go back to your battery.
Yeah. All right. So far, then everything's working right. So I'm happy with the car so far.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marty.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Give us a call again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Marty. Remember, you can take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. That's youranonymousfeedback.com. And again, I will mention $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. $50. Give us a call, say hello, or share your experience with us, whether it's in service, whether it was purchasing a vehicle, leasing a vehicle, whatever. We would love to talk to you. Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. You may want to write that text number down. You'll need it in order for you to vote on our mystery shopping report that will be coming up shortly. Okay, I think we'll go to Rick and get some of those YouTubers exposed.
All righty. So far, the only one I've got here, Johnny Z. Fradley said, back when we were talking about tires, he says, speaking of tires, if you lease from Toyota and have to replace a tire, make sure it's the same rating or higher as the factory original. Otherwise, you're going to wind up having to pay for that tire when you turn your lease back in. They will send you a bill if your tires are not of the same rating.
What is there's all different kinds of ratings. What kind of rating are you talking about?
I believe he's speaking of the speed rating for the tire.
Speed rating?
Yeah. When you look on the side of the tire,
okay.
You'll have the measurement for the tire.
That's a safety issue, sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
they're not going to do about the rating in terms of the inflation or the soft, the
treadwear rating.
Treadwear rating. Yeah,
this is actually the speed rating.
Speed rating. Yeah, that's important. Yeah. Yeah. Meaning if you have a performance car, you have to have the high speed rating tire, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble when you're going real fast in your high performance car.
Exactly. Yeah. Other than that, it's been kind of quiet on YouTube.
Can I do something that's really
Let's go to.
May I say something that's totally automotive unrelated?
Okay, I'll be right with you, Karen. You hang on.
Oh, no, I didn't know you had Karen on. I'm not going to do that with Karen holding.
Okay, Karen. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, Karen.
Good morning, Karen. Hello?
Hi.
Hey, hi, Karen.
You don't remember me, of course. I have a picture of you, your husband, and my pit bull on my phone from when I bought my little Tacoma truck back in 2017.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
It's been a while since you called.
I've never called.
Oh, great. Guess what I have for you? $50.
Great.
I have $50 for you. And if you stay on the line when we're finished talking, you can give Mike in the control room your contact information. He will pass that to me, and I'll write you that check. I will need to know where to send that check. So stay on the line when we're done talking.
Okay, I won't take up a lot of your time. I just want somewhere. I need some information, someplace to go.
Okay.
And you guys are so knowledgeable, and I can help me. And
okay, what can we do for you?
I'm newly retired, and I got excited and bought a van to put my dogs in and to travel in, and I'm not using it. And I went to Delray, and they listed it as a cargo van. It's a 2023. It's got 5,000 miles on it. And it's the same size as my Tacoma truck. That's why I bought it. It was 18 foot. You know, everybody makes a mistake now and then. And I bought it thinking I would travel and do this and do that. Well, I'm still so busy doing other things after retirement that I don't use it. And so I took it to Delray, and they said, oh, no, just take it to CarMax. So I went up to CarMax, and they wouldn't take it. Nobody will take it. So I put it on RV Trader. Oh, my gosh, they're coming out of the woodwork. You know, everybody wants this much money for this, $800 for that. I'm like, oh, come on. eBay, they all want money just to advertise it. And is there any dealerships that take a small little van?
Oh, sure. Karen, I would, if you have something you can write on, there are a number of sources to sell used cars. You have a better opportunity to sell and get a good price for that van than you ever had in terms of dealing directly. One of them, Carfax, you've already tried. Carfax apparently didn't want to give you a price. I'm a little surprised, but the fact that they shouldn't dissuade you. Well, you've got WeBuyAnyCar.com online. And it's just the way it sounds, WeBuyAnyCar.com. You could go online, describe the van, and sell it actually online. They verify what you told them, of course, before they...
Well, I could take it back to La Mesa RV where I got it. It's got the solar top. It's got the refrigerator. Yeah. It's got everything in it. It's a beautiful little thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's so many of them now. Vroom, V-R-O-O-M, Vroom.com. It's a crazy saying, VROOM.com. There's Carvana. They've been around longer than the other two.
I missed the first part. Is this a specialty van?
With two ends?
Is this a specialty van? I didn't hear the very beginning of it.
It's an 18M Rise. Yeah, it's a Dodge Ram van.
Yeah. Maybe
it's one of the little...
Let's get. Yeah. I'll talk to Ted Caboose. He's our wholesaler.
Yeah.
In the past, we've dealt with this and it does cause a pause. We've had these conversion vans pulled up, these Dodge, and nobody knows what to do with them because there's a basic van that it's in the books and all that, and then a lot of work has been done to create what it is. You need a specialist for that, I think.
I think the bigger companies would have a more wider view and a wider source.
Well, when you said that CarMax didn't want to give a value on it, I'm thinking the only way they would do that if it was a weird conversion thing. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, just because CarMax didn't do it, is no reason not to try the other sources. And then if you can take it to an RV dealer or someplace like that, as Stu said, that would be.
We have our wholesale guy. He is also an RV aficionado. he travels all over in his RVs. So I think he knows. He'll know. So can you just text me the information to the? Do you have the show's text number?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's 772
497 6530. That's 772 497 6530.
Yep. And if you text me all the information you can give me on it, as much as you can, and then I'll forward that. Give me your contact information, and then in this week coming up, I'll get to you and find you a good place to sell it.
Oh, let me just do a quickie. 772-497-6530.
That's it.
And okay, and who do I text this to?
To me, to Stu.
Stu. It goes right to Stu's phone.
It goes right to me. It goes to my computer.
Okay. Thank you guys so much.
You know something, Karen? That We Buy Any Cars. It's amazing. Yeah. I see that advertised like every 5 minutes on TV.
Yeah, I do too.
And a lot of people don't know that they can take advantage of that. So you got We Buy Any Cars, and you have Vroom, and you have Carvana, and you have
Well,
us.
you pay for your mistakes, and I'm willing to do that because I want to be in a pretty little Forerunner. I
There
love
you
my
go.
Tacoma, and everybody says, "Oh, we can take your Tacoma and trade, not your van." I said, "You're never touching my Tacoma or my dog."
I'm telling you
That's-
that in those Forerunners, I'll tell you, they've got some great looking and very comfortable Forerunners.
Yeah, they're so cool. Well, that's where I started. I was
Be a
very
good-
close to Delray Toyota.
Be a
And,
good choice.
I went up there and they said, "Oh no, if we're not going to take it, Earl Stewart won't take it." I'm like, "Well, okay, maybe they can." And then I was listening to your show and I said, "Well, maybe they can direct me to somebody
Right,
who
we
will
might
take it."
take it, but we might place it. The I just googled how to sell a conversion van, and there's a thing called RV Select. Inc.com. There's a couple other places where you can that buy them and sell them, so that might be worth just googling it.
Well, I went RV Universe, and you're just paying money out for everything,
okay.
and you're not getting anything for it. And it's like, okay, well, when we sell it in 120 days, then you'll get paid, and you don't even know what they're going to sell it for. You know,
right.
and it's not going to be as much as.
So they're
well,
doing it like on
I'm never going to
consignment.
get the money out of it. I know I'm taking a hit, but
Yeah.
I just don't want to be killed over it.
Well, send me that info, and we can see what we can do to help you out.
And,
Thank you, guys. So
Karen,
much.
don't
Thank
forget, I cannot send you that check unless you stay on the line and talk to Mike and give me your contact information where I can mail that check.
I will do that right now.
Okay, Karen. Thank you. Give us a call again and spread the word. Let your lady friends know that we are trying to build a platform right here at Earl on Cars for the ladies. They are an important part of the show and the auto industry. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. As I said earlier, youranonymousfeedback.com. Take advantage of that. That way you can, as the website says, you can remain anonymous. We're going to go to Fred, who's been holding. Thanks for your patience, Fred. Good morning.
Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
We're well, thank you.
Good. I've called a few times. I'm in Palm Beach Gardens. So every time we go down North Lake going east, I see that picture of this handsome guy. You got to be real careful, Nancy. He's handsome, he's rich, and he owns a car dealership.
I keep him locked up.
Yeah.
I had that feeling because with all these single women here, hey, they're going to marry Earl.
Hey, Fred, they don't want to mess with me. Let me tell you right now.
I don't want to mess with you. So this question is really for Earl. My wife also called the show years ago. She worked for 4 different car dealerships in New York, and she knew a lot. But I'm about halfway through your book that I got through Amazon, and it is just absolutely fascinating, all the things that go on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, she knew it, but not at this depth. But I got to the part of the photographs. So I got some personal questions that I hope you could answer.
I'll try.
Earl, when you started out with your dad in the business, did you learn from the bottom up, or did he just stuff you in and say, hey, you're the boss?
I started selling used cars, and that was a real education. That was old school, and I was a rookie, and I was in the used car lot. I'll just share with you one little quick story. I first got there, and every time somebody came on the lot to buy a used car, another salesman alongside of me would say, oh, that's one of my old customers. His name was Wayne Fisher, and he'd go out and either try to sell him a car or sell him a car. So after a couple of weeks, I realized that everybody that walked on the lot was Wayne Fisher's old customer. Of course, he was cheating me just like he cheated his customers by we called it skating the customer. That was called skating, meaning stealing a customer from another salesman. Yeah, but yeah, you might say I learned that. Actually, before that, when I was in high school, I worked in my father's parts department at Stuart Pontiac.
Oh, okay. And I know the book is, I don't know how many years old. All 3 of your sons still work at Earl Stewart?
Yeah, they do. Josh, Jason, and Stu sitting right across from me now.
Well, only
And
Stu
what are
sat
their
across from me.
And we even got a grandson working
Only Stu.
now named Eli.
I'm just curious, what are their managerial positions? And what is Nancy's position besides being your boss?
Well, that's about as high as you could go.
It's called the chairman of the board.
I'm pretty busy.
I'm boss of everybody except Nancy.
Fred.
She's my boss.
The chairman of the board.
Okay.
I'm
All right,
the
so,
general
Earl,
manager of the dealership, and
Okay.
but I sold cars
Your
for a
brother?
long time, and I did lots of roles in the dealership before I got to my old age. Earl's really old. I'm old, but
We're all old.
and yeah, and so did my brothers. My brother Jason, he was in the business longer than all of us. He started back in like 1990 working at Earl's old Pontiac dealership,
Yeah.
and so he's been doing it for 40 years almost, and I'm doing it for 30 years almost.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now I know in the book it said, and I've heard you say on the radio numerous times, you are volume-wise the biggest in the Southeast. Is that still correct? And where do you stand nationally as a Toyota dealer
In what?
in
Well,
volume?
no, we are not. We are not. If I said that, I was lying. We're not number one volume wise.
Never been.
We were.
Oh, okay.
We're probably what about 75th nationally? It's
Yeah.
1,200. There's 1,200 dealers or
We're in the-
1,300
we're like in the
Toyota
top
dealers.
100.
We're probably number 100 or something like that.
In the top 100 right now,
Yeah.
and then we'll fall out of the top 100 by the end of the year and
Yeah.
be like 120.
And in Florida, in southeast United States, in the distributorship, we're probably what 100th?
Yeah,
No, we're higher than that.
We're higher than that. We're
Yeah,
in the top
probably
50.
60th or
probably top 50
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
And what about customer service? You guys
We're
got to
the
be
best.
number one.
We're highest. We're highest in
highest.
retention for dealers our size. In other words, the true measure of customer satisfaction. They gave up on the surveys because the dealers cheated to get the surveys
Right.
up, like the Google. There's a lot of Mickey Mouse going around with customer reviews. So what Toyota wisely has done, and most of the manufacturers are doing this now, they judge a dealer's customer satisfaction by, if you buy a car from that dealer, does that person come back and buy another car? If you service your car with that dealer, does that person come back for another service? How high a percentage of your customers come back again, and again? So for dealers in our size, in our group, our volume, our size group, we're number one.
Oh, that is something you guys should be proud of. In customer service too, and keeping a customer the most important. And the last thing that I know, somebody called up, they beat me to it. I know the mystery shopper is always on the side of the salesperson, but you hit it on the head one day when the person called up and said, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
What happens when you go to the service department and you got to meet people like Rick,
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
juggling around
Yeah,
it.
watch out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of hard work, and it's continuous. And, each and every one of us have been at the helm. I have to share this story every once in a while. If I call Stu and I have a prospective customer, he tells me he doesn't sell cars anymore. and I know he's just playing with me, but you asked what he did at the dealership, and he is the general manager. So customer service is so important, and on any given week, there are a lot of customers, whether they're regular or prospective, I speak to them, and it's really very, very important, and that's what's kept Earl, where he is today, along with Rick, Josh, Jason, all of us. So thank you for asking.
So you are literally the customer service manager?
No, I'm not a customer service manager. I don't have time to be a customer service manager.
Got it.
I wear a lot of hats, and I
Okay.
fall into a lot of different categories. 35 years at this, I just fall into a lot of different categories.
Yeah, and
VIP of special projects also. Go ahead, Rick.
when people wind up in the service department and they meet me, they just fall in love with me. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand why, but that's true.
I'm
I don't
cute and
understand.
cuddly.
He's cute and cuddly.
There you go, cute and cuddly.
Well, I love listening to your show, and I have the same philosophy. I'm a customer service manager for office furniture, chairs, and my motto has always been, because we have salespeople out there, they work their rears to get a sale, and all they need is one thing for me and my crew to screw up, and they just lost their commission, and they lost the customer. So I know how valuable customer service is, and to me, it's a team effort, and from what I've seen, you guys are great, and I love listening to your show, and thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. Have a great weekend. We're going to get to Doug, who has been patiently holding. Good morning, Doug.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, welcome. Doug. Yes, we can.
Good morning. I'm calling from DeQuesta. I bought a 2001 Toyota Avalon about 5 years ago. It came from the Toyota place where you have your business. And I have a problem. It just started. I mean, the car is like brand new almost, and it's 23 years old, but it runs great and everything. But all of a sudden, I have a problem that started. And both of these happened at the same time. The airbag light came on, and at the same time, when I put on my high beams, they don't work. But when I push my high beams,
you can't flash them, but you can turn them on.
No, I can flash them,
yes.
But I can't turn them on.
Yes.
Now, when I flash them, the blue light comes on for the high beams, but when I turn them on, by pushing it, the light doesn't come on and the high beams don't come on. And at the same time, that airbag light came on. Can you help me?
Rick is scratching his head. He's thinking right now.
Module D in the fuse block.
Get out of here. Really? Okay. All right. You're the pro.
Avalons of that era have a module. It holds some of the fuses, and it's actually a logic module in the fuse block and under the hood of the car. And it causes, when it goes bad, it causes such weird havoc that anytime I hear a weird combination issue like that, now I'd have to go and check the wiring diagrams to make sure that it's part of the airbag circuitry as well, but I'm willing to bet it is. I've seen them where windshield wipers will do the weirdest things or not function at all. Headlights is one of the number one indicators when your high beams are acting goofy and weird. It's always that module D in that fuse block under the hood. It takes about an hour and a half to replace it, but if you stop in, we can double check the diagnosis on it and get you a price on it at the dealership there. And it's a very straightforward part to replace. It does take a little bit because we have to kind of disassemble part of the fuse block for the way it's installed.
Give Doug a ballpark of what it's going to cost him.
I'm going to say $500 to $600 around there, including the part. I think that's about right.
So will you be able to diagnose it without going through the replacement process? Would you be able to, as a way to diagnose it and say that's what it is, it's going to cost you $500 or $600, or do you have to replace it, charge him $500 or $600, and say, whoops, it didn't work?
Well, we double check to make sure that the problems he has, that each of those circuits is running through it, and it's kind of like a smoking gun at that point that says, yeah, that's going to be it. But I would say 85 to 90% certain right now that that's what's causing that problem.
I'm trying to put myself in Doug's shoes, so I just want to know that if I hit the short end of the stick and I hit the 10% where it wasn't it, and you put in a new step, what's he going to have to pay us?
Yeah, at that point we'd have to continue tracing all the circuits to figure out what's going on. But again, I'd be pretty confident that's it.
Okay. Well, when Rick's pretty confident, I'm pretty confident too, Doug. I think that's what you should do.
Sir, I thank you for your help. But what is the module D? Is that underneath the fuse box?
It's actually, when you look, if you pull the cover off of the fuse block, you'll see there's a certain section where there's like a whole stack of fuses, all one right after another. And then you'll see a little module box that has only 3 or 4, maybe 5 fuses in it. and a big space where it's just part of that block. And it's actually an entire logic control module itself with certain fuses in it, and it has plugs coming into it from underneath. And that's the unit that controls all that logic circuitry to several of those integrated circuits, and that's the one that goes bad.
And how much is that unit on itself if I was to replace it?
I'm going to say replaced about $600.
That's what the part would cost?
Just guessing. I'm guessing the part's going to be around $300 to $400. It is a guess. You'd want to double check that. You could call the dealership parts department and tell them you're looking for that module D in the fuse block. They'll know what you're talking about because we've done quite a few of them, and they can give you a customer pay price on it.
Well, sir, I thank you very much for y'all's help, and y'all have a wonderful day.
Oh, thank you, Doug. Thanks for the call. Okay, we are going to.
I got some. I got a good question for Rick.
Okay.
From Jim in North Carolina. He says, Rick, I'm thinking about buying a new 24 Tundra with the regular twin turbo engine, the non-hybrid. My question is, are you seeing any mechanical problems with the new Tundras? Like now that when they first came out in 22, Consumer Reports are not rating the new Tundra as a recommended buy in the new issue in April 2024. They are recommending the Ram 1500 as a good, dependable truck, which I find hard to believe. I don't, though. I mean, but anyway, I want to buy a new Tundra, but I'm a little leery because of this. And that's from Jim in North Carolina. Before you get into it, I want to say what Earl always says is when you have a brand new vehicle that comes out, I mean, a lot of people rush and get it, but it is worth maybe pausing a year because some things get shaken out in that first year of ownership. They get a lot of reports. And it doesn't mean it's a bad car, but you are getting – it's like why people don't like to update their phones immediately. Like sometimes the update causes problems.
Yeah. When that Tundra first hit, there were nationwide quite a huge hit where they had problems with the turbos themselves. And I remember on the technician social media groups that were in, the huge debate was drop the engine or pull the cab. Because they were literally lifting the cab of the pickup off the vehicle in order to get to access to replace the turbos. Wow. But it seemed like it was like 6 months that everybody was screaming about the turbos, and it went away.
Okay.
And suddenly it was like they found all the bad ones, they got them fixed, and we haven't heard another peep on those. It's so rare.
Yeah, and that perfectly completely supports Earl's advice on that, which is, I mean, that's a real world example.
Yep.
There was an issue with the turbo. In the same model year, the ones that were sold first had the problems, but somebody buys one 6 months later, the same model year, same line.
Everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
And at this point, we really don't see a lot of continuous complaints about Tundra. The only thing I see on them, this is South Florida. We are, for some reason, we're truck capital. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got a Tundra down here.
Yeah.
And for the amount of them on the road, we don't see very many issues with them.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Right now, there is a recall on a lot of them for a fuel line on top of the fuel tank, where they're in the process of it's like a 2-stage thing for the recall, but that's being handled. It wouldn't cost the customer anything anyways.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're pretty solid trucks.
I got my fingers crossed Consumer Reports likes them better next year.
I think so.
I know. Well, we have smart listeners. They're checking out Consumer Reports even before they're calling the show.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to talk about Vanilla, and he is our dog of the week, and he's so cute. He's a retriever, a Labrador, and he comes to us from the Texas borders, and he's just a lovable little thing. And he's not going to stay small very long. They have specifications here, and he's going to get anywhere from 60 to 99 pounds. So we have a little video. It's very brief from Big Dog Ranch. So everyone, would you like to take a look? And
I work for Big Dog Ranch. This is Vanilla. He is a 2-year-old Lab Retriever mix that we rescued from the border. He is 61 pounds, and he's a very sweet, loving dog. He's in a room with other dogs with him. We rescued him from the Texas-Mexico border with a bunch of other dogs, a bunch of really sweet dogs that were trying to get them very loving families. Vanilla is one of the sweetest dogs on the whole ranch, and he is very great with other dogs.
That is a dog's dog right there.
He is so sweet and calm.
Well, I know why they named them Vanilla.
Yeah, that coloration.
Yeah, I just want to describe. Basically, there is a sweet-looking, puppy-looking lab,
Yeah,
whitish
he is.
fur, cream ears, a creamy nose.
And remember, folks, we pay the registration fees for a Vanilla, and it's quite a savings. It's $200, a $200 value. Here's what you were looking for, Earl.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. So at any rate, $200 value, and you can go to bigdogranchrescue.org, and you can take a look at all the other dogs that they have up for adoption, and you can take a look at Vanilla. And by the way, Earl's book that one of our callers mentioned is Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and 100% of the proceeds go right to Big Dog Ranch Rescue.
Woof.
And
I was looking for you.
Woof. Big dog, little dog.
Sorry, my.
Where's my sound effects?
I was distracted for a moment there by a text.
Being a little dog.
That's all right.
There we go.
So 100% of the proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. You can go to Amazon and pick the book up, and it's an amazing book with amazing information and a lot of details in it, and it is definitely worth purchasing. So now we are going to get to the mystery shop.
Yeah, can I just say something?
I love it when you look at me with those big blue eyes.
To dogs, or not to dogs or cars, but we have a caller named Jersey Mike, which triggered my mind. When you said the book, that also triggered my mind that we give 100% of the proceeds of Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, the book, to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Jersey Mike, which happens to be my favorite submarine sandwich and also one of our favorite callers.
Oh, my God. Sure. Great store.
On the 27th of March, Wednesday, 27th March, they give 100% of the proceeds of every submarine sandwich they sell to charity.
Really?
Yeah, and they have like 400 or 500. I mean, there's Jersey Mike's everywhere, but there's so many of these advertisements which say, if you buy a washer or dryer, if you buy a boat, if you buy this, we give money to charity with everyone.
Buy a pair of glasses, and we give a pair to.
Yeah, so they give 10 cents, or they give a buck, or they give a penny. But that's the reason we have to say we give 100% of the proceeds of Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer to Big Dog Ranch. But I got to tell you, if you want the best submarine sandwich you ever ate, Jersey Mike's, and buy it on the 27th of March, and it's given 100% of
100%.
100%.
That's almost unheard of, except for
it's millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
cool.
incredible. I'm putting it on my calendar.
I digress. I realize.
So how many subs are you going to order?
That's next Wednesday, by the way. Hey, you know what we could do?
What?
Let's buy lunch for the dealership on Wednesday.
Perfect. All right, what a great
there
idea.
we go. We're going to buy it for 150 people.
Great
there you
idea.
go.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, let me put that on the calendar. That's a great idea. Rick's being like, "Where's my sandwich?" All right, I'm putting it down.
Okay, we're going to get to the mystery shop, and Agent Lightning did another great job. She was in Tennessee, right, Earl?
That's right.
Yeah, she was in Tennessee, and she
mystery shop Lance. That was good.
She mystery shop Lance. She was at the Ford dealership at Murfreesboro in Tennessee, and she did a great job. So,
okay,
she's all yours, handsome.
I remember this place because I can't pronounce the name of the city. My mouth trips on itself. Murfreesboro.
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 Tennessee.
Speaking Murfreesboro.
I bet
can't do it.
You'll be able to say it a whole lot better after you have some McKellen tonight.
That's true. You're right. Speaking in the first person, I arrived mid-morning, was greeted by a customer service lady who asked if I was here to see anyone in particular. I replied that I was not, but I was hoping to get more information on the Ford Bronco, the infamous Ford Bronco, for you folks who remember OJ. She asked for my name and then returned to a young salesman and said, JC right here will be happy to help you. JC extended his hand for a gentle handshake and then asked me to follow him to his desk. He asked me what was most important to me in a Bronco and then turned to his computer and pulled up all the models he had in stock. He asked me to pick one to test drive rather than going outside in the freezing cold weather to search one outside while it was cold. I checked the temperatures. It was 55 degrees in Murfreesboro, Tennessee at 5 a.m.
Today?
Today.
She said it was a little bit colder.
Yeah, it was like 30,
Florida
38.
and 55.
I was in New York yesterday, believe it or not.
Were you?
I went there and came back the same day.
Wow.
It was in
Back
the
to
30s all day.
Murfreesboro.
Yes.
That's a rough trip.
I chose this Robin's
and
Egg
back.
Blue, so he suggested I wait inside where it's warm, and he'll pull it up for me. I met him out front. The Monroney label, here we go, the Monroney label was in its proper place.
Wow.
Now, about the only place I could think of where the Monroney label is not in its proper place is in Florida.
Yes.
You'll never find a Monroney label, especially in South Florida,
Rarely.
in its proper place. It's anywhere but on the window of the car, which is the federal law. The Monroney label was $38,355 on this particular Bronco. And, of course, there was an addendum label, the infamous addendum label, to inspect. It added $1,696 for door edge guards, tint, window tint, of course, door cup protectors, and membership in the Ford of Murfreesboro Connect. And that was a vehicle tracking app. It's... I'm not going to hold the picture up, but Agent Lightning took a picture of the addendum label. And the addendum label is one of these phony Monroneys. It's a counterfeit, and the Ford logo is prominent on the addendum label. Now, when you look at a document and it has the Ford logo and the Ford name, you think Ford Manufacturing Company, you think Monroney label, you think, okay, it's safe, it's a manufacturer. It's not. It is. And in fairness, Murfreesboro Ford has a disclaimer at the bottom that says that it's not a Ford label, but you don't read down that far, and that's why we call them phony Monroneys. He went over all the features. That's JC with me, the salesman, and then asked if I'd like to drive it. We went on quite the test drive while JC continued sharing info about the Broncos with me. He was very knowledgeable and entertaining. Now, Nancy and I chit-chatted about that on the way to the studio this morning. And, of course, we said, the type of salesperson that you fear the most are not the snake in the grass, not the guy with the mustache and the white shoes and the plaid jacket, not the guy that really looks and sounds like a crook. It's the sweet, he could be my nephew, he could be my grandson. He's so nice, gentle handshake.
The guy you like.
Open the door for me. Because the guys, and I say the guys, the people that can fleece you of the most wool are the ones that you like the most, the ones that you trust. And it's all about trust. So I'm not disparaging JC at this point. I'm just saying that when you buy a vehicle, we look for people we can identify with. We like a good smile, real white teeth, well-dressed. We look for people that, hey, I can trust this guy. But you can't trust people from looking at them. Just a basic listen and human nature.
Gentle handshake could be very deceiving.
Yeah. Okay, back to the mystery shopping report. Once back from the test drive, we went back to the desk. I noticed a Bronco backpack sitting next to where JC sits, the salesperson. I made a comment on how cute it was and asked if it was his backpack. He smiled and said, "No, but I'll gladly give it to you if you buy this car from me today." Bam.
Look at it.
There you go. He went on to say that it was a promotional item valued at over $400. So now we have now instead of on the addendum label, we've also got extra stuff that we can sell or give you to induce you. That $400 value is probably $40. It's only a markup of about 1,000%. So anyway. Inside of the first aid kit, battery booster box with cables, fire extinguisher, and I was a little worried when I saw the fire extinguisher. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I mean, when you go to buy a car, you don't want the guy rushing out and says, "You better take this with you." I mean,
well, you might park next to a Kia in the parking lot.
Anyway, JC then asked for my license to copy and put my information into his computer. He asked me if I was sure I really liked the vehicle. I said, yeah. He then asked me if he knew my county sales tax. I said I was almost positive it's 7%. It's not 7% in Florida, is it?
No. Well, it is, but on vehicles, it's limited
Depends
to the
on
first
municipality.
Huh?
I think it depends on the.
It is. Yeah, it's not a statewide thing.
Yeah.
We have it's 7% in Palm Beach County.
Anyway, JC explained how they would do all the legwork of getting me my Florida plates while also issuing me a temp Tennessee plate until my permanent one comes in the mail. JC asked me if I would be financing it today or how I planned on purchasing. I replied, likely financing. That's a good answer, by the way, because in my blogs and recommendations, general recommendations, let the dealership believe they're going to finance the car for you. They make more money financing the car than they do selling the car. It didn't used to be the case during the height of the, $10,000 MSRP era, but now that we're getting back to a competitive market again, it is going to be true again. The dealer will make $2,000 on the financing. He might not make that when he sells you the car. So if he can anticipate that $2,000 ka-ching, he might take it a little bit easier on you on the price as you negotiate. So don't ever say to a guy, "I'm paying cash." For everything else, if you say, "I'm paying cash," you're motivating the buyer to cut the price. To a car dealer, when you say cash, you're motivating the dealer to raise the price because he can't make anything on the back end, we call it in the business. Can't make anything on the financing. Then he asked if I'd be putting anything down. I said probably $5,000 to $10,000. I then asked him about putting it on my credit card. We've been asking that question several times of our mystery shopping reports since we found out that there's a new scam going on where you can get a deal to charge the customer legally for the use of the credit card. So we've been playing with that. A lot of dealers are not really jumping on that. He asked if I meant the entire purchase. I said, yes. Is that possible? He said, unfortunately, they only allow up to $5,000 here, which is about standard because they're paying a merchant fee of anywhere from 2 to 3%. And they don't want to pay that. So if you put $5,000, the merchant fee is 3%, which it is on Amex, then it's costing them $1,500 $150. He then said, even if it's a used car for say $3,500, you couldn't put the entire purchase. Now this is, I'm going to read this, but it's all BS. He then said, if it's a used car, say $3,500, you couldn't put the entire purchase on a credit card. He explained that it becomes a liability for credit card companies, and their dealership doesn't allow that anymore. If the dealership says do it, then you can do it. You just have to pay the merchant fee. So I don't know why he said that. I guess just an excuse. He said essentially by doing so, it would be a loan from your credit card company that they aren't aware of, which is silly because they're aware of it because you have to phone it in and say, is it okay if I take this amount of money toward the purchase of this car? And the credit card company says yes or no. So in truth, I'm just saying he's just uninformed, or maybe his manager misinformed him. I don't know. JC said years ago you could, but unfortunately they no longer allow that. I said I understood. I would like to see how much this one would cost me out the door. He said, sounds good. Please give me a few minutes. I'll be back with some numbers. A few minutes later, he returned to the sales worksheet. Backing up a little bit, whenever you use the word out the door, it's become a standard phrase, unfortunately. It doesn't mean anything if you don't define it. Right. Out the door, you define it the way you wanted to define it. I like to define out the door as what can I write a check to the vendor for, hand them the check, take the product, and take it home. That's out the door. Right. I mean, it's literally out the door. But the dealers don't look at it this way. So
unless they chase you out the door and get some more money.
Yeah, right.
That's the out the door that they like.
Yeah. JC's top line was MSRP $38,355. A $924 discount came off before. It always comes out before. He added $998 and $698 for the addendum items. Then he added $970 in taxable fees, which is a fancy name for junk fee. And there was no breakdown of that, by the way, before adding sales tax and some small non-tax
Yeah,
fees.
I didn't see anything for tag or registration, so I assume there's some tag and some junk fees in that taxable fee thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that makes it not taxable fees because the tag fee is not taxable.
That's right. Anyway, it's confusing, which is supposed to be. Right. You really don't know what you pay when you buy a car dealership. Even when you don't finance, that's where you sign the papers. So when you say you're not going to finance, you're going to pay cash, what you're really doing is you're giving them another chance to finance the car because they will explain to you why they can give you a better deal than your bank or your credit union, and a car dealer cannot 99.9% of the time do it. The only time a car dealer will be able to give you a better deal than your bank or credit union is when the manufacturer for that new car has what they call a subvented rate, which is a discount turned into a low interest rate. That comes from the manufacturer. Those are legitimate, but that doesn't happen very often. He asked me what I was looking for to be at per month. They love you to answer that one because you can play with that. You know what I'm talking about? $750 per month is a lot different on a 36-month loan from a 48-month loan, from a 72-month loan, from an 84-month loan. Are there 96-month loans now?
I bet you there are. I mean, I have seen 84 months are not uncommon, but I would not be surprised.
So they love to hear the monthly payment. Oh, that'll fit into my budget. Yeah, that'll be $950 a month for 200 years. I mean, when you leave that door open.
Do a 15-year mortgage on your car.
Yeah, you can't do that, right. Again, he asked about the per month. I said, which is smart. I said it's not really about that, as it is the final out-the-door price for me. I let him know that I would need to talk to my husband, and he's not available until later this afternoon. That eliminated her argument, or my argument as Agent Lightning, to have to, take the car, call your husband, text the husband, tell him to come in the dealership. Mm-hmm. He won't be available.
She knows how to head that off.
JC said, I understand. He asked if there was anything he could do to earn my business. You don't ever say, what do I have to do to sell you a car? You don't. A smart salesman doesn't want to sell a car. Right. That's a dirty word. You want to earn their business. See what I mean? It's all about the lingo. I declined, thanked him for his time, and left. He didn't let me know that they have a lifetime powertrain warranty. Ooh. And if I own the car long enough to go through 25 engines,
that's
I
all.
love this, Rick.
I think
they would gladly put the 26th engine in. Now, engines, folks, I don't want to say engines won't fail. Yeah, engines will fail, but that's if you don't put oil in the car. If you lubricate the car, if you go by the factory recommended maintenance, engines never fail.
We found that one interesting thing though this week though, because we offer a free powertrain warranty. We found out that we've had one claim.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it for like.
Yeah. Well, and we probably which is I'd love to see what that claim was. I can't imagine.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. It doesn't necessarily mean an engine replacement. It could be anything. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, it was an $8,000 claim, so it was probably an engine.
The powertrain warranties are free because they're worthless. Don't buy a car or not buy a car because the lack of or a presence of a free powertrain warranty. The catch is that you have to go by the manufacturer's recommended maintenance, and if you do that, they just don't fail. Rick says he's got a pickup truck with 170,000 on it.
178 almost.
And you'll probably have 300 on it before you know it, and it'll still run fine.
I'm going to run that truck for as long as it'll go.
It's going to outlive you, Rick.
And if something does fail,
at this rate.
If something does fail in the powertrain warranty, so we're at voting time. And we vote on the
he reminded her that she would get the backpack full of goodies.
Oh, yes.
She would do that.
Yeah, about $400 worth of goodies.
It's an all right looking backpack.
Yeah. So he was very smooth. I mean, JC was likable.
Oh, I didn't put the
one might
backpack
say
in there.
lovable. I love the soft handshake. We had a hard handshake a couple of weeks ago. That really makes women mad when someone grabs her hand and just pumps it like a gorilla. Women don't like that, and so here we are.
Yeah, I like that gentle.
A lovable salesperson.
Gentle shake.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We're going to vote on the curve. We try not to flunk everybody, even though we'd like to flunk them. We get emotionally involved. We need to have car dealerships available because we have a recommended list and a do not buy list.
That's correct. And you can vote at 772-497-6530.
Or just go vote on YouTube. That's where everybody's voting now.
Okay.
No one's texting me. That's okay. I got Jonathan Pompkos, the phony Monroney and the phony baloney salesman, addendum items and junk fees, garners the dealership a C. That sounded like it was going to be a lot worse than a C, but
Honestly,
we're grading
I
on
like
the curve.
that sound effect.
That was my double stroke roll. It was pretty par for the course. I don't know if we're judging. I'm trying to access my memories of our prior Tennessee shops, because if we're grading on a curve and we don't see very many addendum labels in Tennessee, then this would be, less than a C. And we typically say when you get out of South Florida, especially in these, and especially in the north, that the car dealers get nicer. I'm going to give them a C minus.
Okay.
Okay, I've got T Cash says D. Pardon me.
You want me to read your YouTube ones while you're choking over there?
Sorry about that, folks.
It's okay.
That's okay, Rick.
He says, I'll throw in my own $20 backpack. Negan1 says D. When they ask for a payment, I always say $250 a month. Joseph Kelleher, D. Grading on the curve. Doug Tesler, Ella gives them a C. And over here we have Johnny Z says, too much baloney next to the Monroney. A D for me.
I love that.
Get down to the next ones here. Here we go. Brian Sedlatko, never buy a Ford. It's a D for me. Cliff's Picks says D. And Tim Gilliland says D. Mark Smith says he got in a little too late to score the shopping report, so he'll rewatch it. Send us a grade later. For me,
oh, thank you.
I'm going to say C. I think it's pretty average.
Yeah.
I think it seems like a reasonable place that you could work the deal if you go in there knowing what you need to know to do the right job.
Yeah, no overt larceny, just subtle larceny, but not crazy larceny. Nancy?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to give him a C minus. I think that on the scale of things, it was a little less than average, but like Rick said, it's pretty standard deception. And JC was really smooth as silk.
Yeah, he definitely was that, and she's $400 for that. Was that package, that kit? Is that was the value on that was?
The knapsack.
Knapsack?
Knapsack on my back.
Yeah.
Here, Jonathan showed it on
I'm gonna-
the stream, but there's the backpack right there. I forgot to include it in the report. I don't know why I did.
Oh, that changes
It
my
changes
score.
everything. I'm
That
giving
changes
them a B+.
my score immediately. I'm gonna give him a D minus.
Okay, there you
A
go.
what? A D minus?
That's pretty bad.
D minus.
All right. So what's the official is
We
recommended?
passed. That'd be
They
on the-
passed.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Lance, it's safe. You can go to Fort of Murfreesboro.
Okay, guys, it's time for us to wrap things up here in the studio, and I want to thank all of you who have joined us this morning. You're an important part of the show, and we certainly enjoy your company. Stay tuned next week. We'll be right back here, 8 a.m. on the Oldies channel. Have a great weekend.